Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm here to teach you how to draw. Today we're going to be going over the human head. It may seem intimidating, but with a few tips and tricks, you'll be able to accomplish it in no time. I'm working on a tablet, but this technique will work just as well with paper and pencil. So grab your stuff and let's get started.
Okay, to start, we are going to use a circle. Yes, a circle. It's all about shapes when you're looking at the human body. So if you're ever confused, break it down into the basic shape. I'm going to cut a line through the middle, just past the circle, and create the sides of the face. It should look like an egg. Next, we're going to plan out the facial features. You want a line bisecting in the middle, about 2/3 of the way down, and then about halfway down below there. That's your eye line, your nose line, and your mouth line. The ears will always line up with the top part of the eye. You'll see how this applies later on. Next, we make the neck, making 2 lines just on the sides of the mandible. On a guy, it's going to be a little thicker. On a woman, it's going to be thinner. Now note, if you're doing a guy, don't forget the Adam's apple. Next, I'm going to draw 2 circles to indicate where the eyes go. As you get more advanced, this gets a little easier and you can usually skip this step, but it's good to start for now. Also, I'm going to add in the hairline. This character, Lucky, that I've drawn in my comic Azure, has a widow's peak, so I've got to make sure that I note that down. Now when I add hair, they always come in tufts, so you watch me create in a moment those tufts. There's 1, 2, and since it's kind of a spiky hairstyle, I just flick my pencil a little bit to create that messy look. So we've now created a skeleton for this character. If you're on a tablet, you want to reduce the opacity of this layer and then create a new one. If you're working with paper and pencil, just put another piece of paper over the top and trace over that if you can see through. Light tables are great for this. So now let's move on to detailed work with the eyes. We're going to zoom in here and I'm going to start by drawing a little nubby part at the corner of your eye where all your eye boogers collect, and then create an almond shape to create the eye. Now when you're creating eyes, they can be big, small, of different ethnicities, anime style. This is entirely up to you. This is just really figuring out the placement of an eye, but how that looks is up to your own. Now, I'm not happy with the shape of one of the eyes, so I'm gonna make it a little smaller. But whatever you do, don't drive yourself crazy trying to make everything symmetrical. Remember, faces aren't symmetrical, and it creates good character to have little variations. Focusing on the eyebrow, this character tends to have a very thick eyebrow, but really they can be whatever sizes you want. It's just basically 3 lines, 1 across, 1 slanted down, and then a little tail at the end. You can see I've created that on both sides here. Moving on to noses. Remember, they are a 3D shape. I'm creating the base of the nose there, and a little indication where the top is. I'll add the nostrils, and then just the sides of the nostrils. Don't feel like you need to draw the entire thing in, because that'll look a little odd. Just indicate where it's supposed to be, and the reader will make up the rest in their head. Now we're gonna look at lips. Usually for guys, it's done in a straight line if you're doing comic book work. Women will have fuller lips, and I will cover that in a different tutorial, and then you indicate the lower lip below. The jaw is a great place to distinguish features between different characters so you don't suffer from same face. This character has a very square jaw and a very firm chin, so you can see how I'm indicating it there on the sides, coming in, and then creating another half circle right below to indicate the chin. The next lines we're going to add in from the neck are going to be the sternocleidomastoids. That's because they attach to your sternum, your clavicle, and your mastoid process on your jaw. Don't forget that Adam's apple. Now onto ears. A lot of people find ears very difficult. I tend to make them stick out a little bit more on my characters than they would in real life. You just draw, I would say, kind of a half circle shape and then bring in the bottom, create the ridge, the little nub, and then a hole where they're hearing, obviously. Squiggles work great on this. Remember, simple is your friend. You can always add more detail later. People can find hair very frustrating. So I say indicate, don't draw every single strand or you'll make yourself crazy. You can see I'm just using little cross-hatching sketches to indicate the hairline and then tracing out the top where I'd marked before. I add more tufts and locks just to give it some variation and some texture, but it's pretty easy to accomplish from there. Eyes are pretty easy. Those are circles within circles, irises, and then pupils. Now remember, these aren't hard and fast rules. Do what feels right for you. Start subtly and you can always add detail, like I'm adding heavy lids and a little bit of texture below the eye, as well as darkening the eyelashes. Now eyelashes, it might be tempting to try to draw every single eyelash, but you'll drive yourself crazy. So I suggest doing it in a block and adding a little detail if you need to. Remember, you can always add more, and an eraser is your friend. I'm going to move the face a little bit here because it doesn't seem quite central. I know that's harder to do on a piece of paper, but if you have a tablet, just cut and paste it, and that's how that goes. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Hopefully this helped your artwork out. So there you have it, the human head. Good luck!
So I hope that helped. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for things that you'd like to learn in the future, leave that in the comments below. Check out tumbledheroes.com to learn any news about any art that I'm doing. I might be at a Comic-Con near you, and I'd love for you to come and say hi. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.